Okay, so we're going to talk about proportions and ratios. This is going to help us set up for our similar triangles unit because we're going to create a lot of proportions and ratios in order to solve for missing sides of these similar triangles. So a ratio is going to be something where um, we're comparing two or more things. We're going to be comparing two or more things. So I'm going to highlight that, right? We're going to be comparing two or more things, right? We can write these in multiple forms, right? We've got the fraction form, which is how we're going to be writing it for the most part when we're trying to solve using cross multiplication. So we're going to be putting it in the fraction form that you see here. But we can also write it as a colon. We use the colon when we're comparing more than one thing. If we want to compare three or four things, the colon is going to be the way to go. So things we could compare, like if you're looking at your class, we can compare eye color, hair color, boys, girls, anything like that. Class year, all these are things that we can use these ratios for. Okay, so here we have some ratios and we just want to write them in the simplest form that we can. So we need to find a common factor of each and then divide each of those by that factor. Your calculator will do this for you. If you type in the alpha y equals and into the fraction and just type in the fraction that you see here on this board, it will, you hit enter, it'll simplify it for you. But here I'm going to do it by hand. So both of these we can divide by 5. So 25 divided by 5 gives us 5. 45 divided by 5 gives us 9. So 5 to 9 would be that in simplest form. 12 over 16, those can both be divided by 4. So if we divide 12 by 4, we get 3, and 16 by 4, we get 3/4. Okay, now we've got three numbers. We still need to find the highest number. That is the factor of all of them. So we're going to pick 3. So we're going to divide each one by the number 3. So we get 3 to 5 to 8. Okay, again, your calculator will do the comparison of 2 for you. Alpha y equals, type in your fraction, hit enter, it'll simplify it for you. Okay, a proportion. This is the key. This is what we're going to be using for most of this. Is going to be something that shows that two ratios are actually equal. Okay, it's going to show that they are equal. So something like 2/3 is equal to 6/9, right? We can simplify 6/9 to actually give us 2/3. Or if we use that skill of cross multiplication, which is we're going to talk about a little bit later, when you cross multiply like that, we would get 18 equal to 18, which is showing you that these are indeed true. You could have also simplified 6/9 by dividing them both by 3. And you get that 2/3, right? So these are proportions. They're equal in value, but represented with different numbers. So the skill we're going to use with these proportions is that cross multiplication that you saw me do. Some people call it a butterfly, right? We're going to diagonally circle the things that are across from each other, and that's what we multiply. So A times D is going to equal B times C or C times B, whichever way you want to write it. Okay, it's multiplication. And this is how we're going to solve most of these problems that we're dealing with. So we've got use the cross multiplication property to solve for x in the portions below. So again, we're going to do that butterfly. So we get 5x equals 3 times 4. So that's 5x equals 12. Divide by 5. X is equal to 12/5. We'll just leave it like that. I'm cool with fractions. Okay, decimals are nasty. Again, same process. Create the butterfly. Okay, so we've got 2x equals 4 times 5, or 2x equals 20. Divide by 2, x is equal to 10. Now, I tend to always put my x first. You don't have to, right? You can follow the same order every time, but you do not have to always put the x first. Remember, multiplication is commutative, so it doesn't really matter what order you put it in. I want you to try this next one here on your own and see if you get it to match what I get as well. Okay, so if you cross multiplied, right, you'd have that 3 times the 5, which is 15x, and then 2 times 7, which is 14. We divide by the 15, so we get x equals 14/15. We've got a few more here for you. I want you to try this next one again on your own. I think that you're going to be okay. See if you get the same answer as I do. Okay, so there you should have gotten your x to be 20. All right, for these next ones, we've got a few more steps that'll be involved, but it's going to be the same process, but make sure you write out your steps. Don't try to skip any steps, because that's how you're going to mess yourself up. So we've got 2 times x plus 5 equals 4 times 1. So I've got to distribute this 2 to both terms. So I'm going to get 2x plus 10 equals 4. And then we're going to solve from here. So we get 2x equals -6. Divide by 2. So x is equal to -3. Remember, you can always check your answer by plugging it back in, right? If we plug that back in, we get -3 plus 5, which gives us 2 over 4, and 2 over 4 simplifies to 1/2. Okay, we're going to do this one more time for this last one here. Want to make sure you remember to distribute. I want you to pause the video here, try to get it done yourself. Make sure your answer matches what I get. All right, so we get x to equal -1/3 there. Okay. Again, if you plug it in, you could see that it'll give you the same answer that you originally had. This one you might need to type into the calculator to see that because it's a fraction. But that's how it works. Okay, if you have any further questions, please see me. Make sure you get those asked because, again, this is going to be the foundation for those similar triangles. So really make sure you're understanding how to use this cross multiplication and solve.